Welcome back to our channel. Nice to see you again, dear friends. There are nearly 251 countries in the world, and each one has its own unique cuisine. Food preferences vary in each country, from region to region and from province to province. We have different culinary preferences, even within our own families. In one country, a dish can be considered as a specialty or a traditional dish, but in another country, it's disliked and people could think it's crazy. But due to the desire to try different and often strange flavors, many people still decide to try them. Although what some people may find delicious, others will refuse when offered it. Of course, it's up to you whether you eat something or not, but there are foods that can be really dangerous to our health. Let's explore them in today's video. Octopus. This type of seafood is popular in many countries. You may think it will taste like rubber, but when it's cooked, its meat is soft and sweet. In Spain, Portugal, and Greece, you can try boiled or grilled octopus. Japanese people serve it as sashimi, thin-sliced raw fillets. And in Malta, octopus is served mixed with spaghetti. Korea is famous for its amazing way of enjoying octopus. They eat raw octopus with sauces and spices, but the experience is really dangerous for your health, according to some reports. A few people die every year from eating octopus. They simply choked as the octopus tentacles were still moving when they reached their throats. The tentacles can cling to the larynx or esophagus from the inside, preventing the supply of oxygen to the body, causing choking and cyanosis. Usually, restaurants cut it into small pieces, but the tentacles are still able to move. A Chinese female food blogger caused a stir when eating a whole octopus, but instead of it being a live stream showing the delicious food, this lady had to vomit to get the octopus tentacles out. They stuck to her face and even tore a patch of skin from her cheek. Marzu. You might think that when you watch a food video like this, you can nibble on something, but to be honest, I recommend you put your food down before you watch the next dish from Italy. You probably already know that Italy is a country famous for its cheeses, but one of them has a rather strange taste, and it's said that only the bravest will dare to try this cheese. Marzu, also known as maggot cheese, is made from sheep's milk on the Mediterranean island of Sardinia. It looks like world-famous pecorino cheese, but in fact, it hides a terrible secret inside. Marzu is left in the sun for 3 weeks until it's covered with cheese flies. The outer shell is often cut to entice them to go inside. After the flies lay their eggs, the round of cheese is stored in a dark and cool warehouse for the eggs to hatch. Then, the acid in the maggot's digestive system makes the hard cheese soft and even liquefy. The maggot's digestive juices give the cheese a distinctive flavor. The larvae of these flies are transparent and white, and about 8 millimeters long. When the cheese is ready, each round has thousands of maggots. Customers can choose to eat the cheese with raw or dead maggots inside. If you want to try the one with live larvae, you need to cover the cheese with your hands when you put it in your mouth, as maggots can jump up to 15 centimeters when agitated and get into your eyes. If those things make you feel funny, you can also put the cheese in a sealed bag to let the maggots die before tasting. But no matter what type you choose, you should chew it thoroughly because these creatures can survive and live in your intestines, causing pain and irritation. Italy banned the mass production of this cheese many years ago under the EU Food Safety Act. People have requested to recognize this as a traditional food to try and overcome the EU regulations, but have failed. Fugu. Some people believe that Japanese food is dangerous because it contains raw fish. Maybe they've heard of fugu, another Japanese delicacy. Fugu is also known as Japanese pufferfish, and this dish is so dangerous that it's no exaggeration to say that the chefs who make fugu have to go through rigorous training for many years to be certified to cook pufferfish. In Japanese restaurants, chefs learn to fillet it for years years, and sometimes decades. This is because the internal organs of this species contains the lethal toxin tetrodotoxin and is enough to kill 30 people at a time. This poison will paralyze the muscles and cause breathing problems, leading to death within 6 hours. Pufferfish poison is unique in that even when completely paralyzed, a person can still be awake and even clearly conscious before death. Pufferfish poison is 200 times more poisonous than cyanide. It has no smell, no color, and looks like normal water, so the chef must know exactly what to do with every inch of this fish. Today, a lot of pufferfish, which doesn't contain harmful substances, are farmed by people, but a normal pufferfish is still considered a delicacy in Tokyo. Fugu dishes are served at nearly 4,000 restaurants in Japan, and the cost of this dish can be more than $1,000. Although experts say that fugu in licensed restaurants is completely safe, we can confirm from statistics from 50 years ago that the number of people dying from fugu poisoning has dropped from 100 per year to 2 to 3 per year. Physique. Every year, the Egyptian Ministry of Health warns people not to eat physique, a traditional Egyptian dish. Physique is known as a fermented salted mughal mackerel. In Egypt, people often eat this dish during the Sham el-Nessi festival to celebrate spring. This is a traditional festival started thousands of years ago in the time of the pharaohs. Physique involves preparing the fish and the ingredients and then drying them in the sun for 45 days before putting on the salt. But if it's not done properly, this dish becomes poisonous. In 1991, 18 people died from eating physique fish, and in 2010, 2 similar cases occurred. In April 2012, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency recalled all physiques sold in Toronto because of 3 reports of Clostridium botulinum infection from eating physiques. The recipe for making physiques sounds simple, but the key to successful processing is knowing the amount of salt needed to preserve the fish. When the fish is fresh, the salt will preserve it and theoretically prevent it from rotting. As a result, after 45 days, the fish will have a pale gray color and special smell. If not enough salt is added, or if the fish is rotten before preserving, the poisonous bacteria will spread throughout the fish preparation environment. Unsafely processed physique will make those who eat it experience vomiting, nausea, paralysis, or worse, it can lead to death. Cockles. Asia has unusual and dangerous dishes, one of which is cockles. Cockles are a very popular type of clam in Vietnam. It's often steamed or boiled, but this heat is often not enough to protect you from diphtheria and hepatitis A infections. This type of clam lives in the mud, so there is a high risk of parasitic infection. In 1988, eating cooked cockles caused a serious outbreak of hepatitis A in Shanghai. According to many sources, 31 to 47 people died, and about 300,000 people were infected after eating this dish. The sale and import of this product has been banned in Shanghai, but other cities in China still consider it a delicacy. Ackee. The very colorful and delicious ackee is a Jamaican fruit which is native to West Africa. The fruit of this tree is used by the Jamaican people as food. They are considered a local specialty, but their looks can be deceiving. If you don't know how to eat them, you could die within 24 hours. The ripe ackee opens and turns a reddish yellow, but if you aren't wise enough and open an unripe fruit and taste the inside, you will quickly fall victim to Jamaica vomiting, which is known as hypoglycin poisoning. You can die within a day. But despite all this, the Jamaican people love the golden ripe flesh of the ackee fruit, and it's an important ingredient in their national dish. Uganak, Alaska. The wilderness once again welcomes you to Iguanak, also known as Copeland. Inuits in Alaska preserve their meat by seasoning and chopping it into steaks. Then, burying it in the ground that is about to freeze in the fall. After a long enough amount of time, they dig it up and enjoy. Then it is up to luck to see if they get poisoned or not. Seriously, because this dish doesn't have a fixed recipe, each family will, depending on the situation, estimate the right time to bury it in the ground. Inuits in Alaska preserve their meat by cutting it into huge steaks and then burying it in the ground for months, where it ferments in the fall and then freezes in the winter, after which they eat this valuable delicacy. But since these recipes are passed down through generations, poisoning is also quite common here. Hakarl is Icelandic rotten shark meat. For Iceland, the hakarl dish is a national treasure, but in other countries, it is likely that this dish will be thrown in the trash. The reason is that hakarl is actually rotten shark meat, made from shark meat buried in sand pits for 6 to 12 weeks, then dug up and hung up, and the final step is to dry it for 6 to 12 weeks. Perhaps it's only Icelandic people who are eager to enjoy this supernatural dish, as tourists describe that this dish has an unforgettable strong smell of feces. Thank you all for watching this video. Are you brave enough to try the dishes we spoke about? If you have already eaten one of them, please let me know how it was in the comments below. If you find this video interesting, then give it a like and share it with everyone. And don't forget to press the subscribe button and the bell button on the side in order to be up to date with the coolest and most interesting videos from our channel.